Discovering the passion. La pasión, la pasión.
Some of the cast and the show creators for Dexter Resurrection just did a fan convention in Mexico City last weekend, and although we don't have any official footage of it, there was a little bit of fan footage, and they gave some insight into the show between filming in New York City, the return of Harry Morgan, where Dexter is at mentally, and they also talked about the controversial ending for Dexter New Blood. So let's get into it. I'm Pamela, welcome back to the channel. So during CCXP Mexico, Michael C. Hall, David Zayas, Scott Reynolds, and Clyde Phillips all did a couple of panels where they talked a little bit about the Dexter franchise, and when asked how the series keeps its edge, Michael C. Hall shared that Dexter's move to New York City represents a complete rebirth. He said it's just like he's been reborn. He has a second chance at life. He discovered that life isn't done with him, and he's not done with it.
Well, it's like he's been reborn. He has a second chance at life. He's discovered that life isn't done with him, and he's not done with it.
And Scott Reynolds also said that Dexter thinks of himself as this monster, but we see him becoming more human. So that is just going to be so interesting to see. We know in Dexter New Blood that he hadn't killed for almost 10 years, which is actually insane to think about. You know, after the ending of the original show and he lost Deb, and he goes into hiding, he gave up killing for nearly a decade, and I mean, that is who he is. He is a killer. And I think he really struggled with who he is, tried to bury his urges, and that is why we see the return of Deb in New Blood. She is this figment of his imagination, trying to keep him clean and not kill anymore. And then obviously we get the return of Harrison, and Dexter starts killing again, and now he's in New York City for Dexter Resurrection, and as Michael C. Hall said, it's a sort of rebirth for Dexter, and he has a second chance at life. And he is not done with who he really is. He's gonna be killing again. But speaking of the return of Deb for Dexter New Blood, we know that she is not returning for Dexter Resurrection, but rather we have the return of Harry Morgan, played by James Remar. And at this fan convention, Michael C. Hall kind of revealed the powerful reason that Harry returns in Dexter Resurrection. I am going to get into a little bit of this article by DexterDaily.com. The article reads, "There's a compelling reason the writers are bringing back Dexter's adoptive father. Many fans have speculated that Harry Morgan's return in Dexter Resurrection is due to Jennifer Carpenter declining to reprise her role as Deborah Morgan in the upcoming series. While that's partially true, the real reason runs deeper." Michael C. Hall shed new light on why James Remar and Harry are making a comeback. When asked about Harry's code in the sequel series, Hall explained, "I think Dexter's troubles could arguably stem from him playing fast and loose with the code and not respecting it. I think he's in a place now where he's ready to recommit to it more rigidly and more reverently. Part of the reason James Remar is back, Harry is back in his head, is because Dexter's back in Harry's good graces. He's recommitted to the code. He's come to appreciate how it keeps him safe, how it makes him singular, and how it allows him to do what he does without being in immediate danger." So yeah, as I said earlier, the reason that we see Deb in his head in New Blood is because he's trying not to kill, and she was there to make sure that he didn't kill. But as we saw in New Blood, he starts killing again. So now he needs Harry, he needs the code to keep him safe. Deb's ghost and Harry's ghost are very different as far as the advice that they give to Dexter. So although James Remar might be back because Jennifer Carpenter didn't want to return, it does make sense to the story for Harry to be back. This article from DexterDaily.com goes on to say, Hall's passionate words underline a major theme of Dexter Resurrection. A return not just to the original characters, but to the psychological and ethical foundations that defined Dexter's identity. Interestingly, the official trailer offers a hint of conflict. In one scene, Harry warns Dexter to be careful, to which Dexter replies, "I'm tired of being careful."
I heard you to be careful, son. I'm tired of being careful.
This exchange suggests that while Harry may be back, their relationship will likely go through its own arc, marked by tension, introspection, and perhaps a rediscovery of the true meaning of the code. With Harry Morgan's return, Dexter Resurrection promises to dive deep into the psyche of America's favorite avenging serial killer. So I was going to bring that up as well. In the trailer, Harry tells Dexter to be careful, and Dexter says, I'm tired of being careful. So I think he's gonna kind of struggle with the code a little bit in season 1. We know we have all of these new serial killers that Dexter is gonna be involved with. Leon Prater, played by Peter Dinklage, is collecting these serial killers. We have the Gemini Killer, Lady Vengeance, Rapunzel, the Tattoo Collector, and I definitely don't think they all share Dexter's code. I think Lady Vengeance might have a similar code, but all of the other serial killers, I imagine, they're bad people who kill innocent people, so I think Dexter will ultimately end up killing all of them because of his code, but I feel like he might struggle a little bit in the first half of the season because he's going to be surrounded by these people who are similar to him, even if they have different codes. They're still serial killers, and they're gonna know the true Dexter. Not many people on the face of this earth know that Dexter's a serial killer. So I think he's gonna like to kind of be accepted for a little bit, be accepted by these people who know his true self, and he might struggle with the code at some point. During the panel, David Zayas also opened up about his return to the franchise. He said he received a Zoom call when he was asked to join the cast, and as soon as he realized what was happening, he was like, wait a minute, could this be? And he said, I don't even think I let them finish asking the question. I said yes immediately. I am just so happy that Angel Batista is back. We needed it to happen. We know that we're getting the Dexter and Batista reunion, which we saw in the trailer. So first, David Zayas talked a little bit about his character Angel. He said, the one thing Angel had was an affirmation for people who did the job well, especially legally and with a good heart, doing the right thing. And Dexter was that, or so I thought. And he was that, except he was also something else, which of course I didn't find out until now. So by him saying I didn't find out until now, that makes me think that Angel is definitely going to find out Dexter's the Bay Harbor Butcher. We know from the trailer that he says to Dexter, Chief Bishop thinks you're the Bay Harbor Butcher. But the way he's saying it to him is like he doesn't really believe it at that point. He's still kind of being friendly with Dexter in the trailer. We see them share a hug. And the way he's saying it to Dexter is like, Chief Bishop's silly. Like, I don't really believe her, but he's saying I didn't find out until now that Dexter was doing something illegal. So I guess it's going to finally come out that he's the Bay Harbor Butcher. Batista's gonna believe it. And then Michael C. Hall talks about Dexter's redemption and Batista's role. When asked about Dexter's current mindset and how he feels about Batista, Michael C. Hall said, there's a fondness and respect that Dexter still has for Batista, and a wish that somehow Batista might be inspired to let this go. But I don't think Batista's gonna let it go. So yeah, it's gonna be so interesting to see this play out. You know, at what point does Batista start to actually believe the Bay Harbor Butcher allegations? Obviously, he brings it up when they first meet, and then we're gonna see Dexter hop out of the hospital window, escape to New York City, and we know that Angel also makes his way to New York City. So I just can't wait. I'm so excited to see this play out. They were also asked how they kind of decided to bring the franchise back, and Michael C. Hall admits that he's the one who got the ball rolling this time. He called Marco Siega and Clyde Phillips and some of the producers, and he said, well, Dexter wasn't shot in the head. You know, maybe he's alive. He was laying on that cold ground and it could have stopped the bleeding or slowed down the bleeding.
I think I'm the one who actually got the ball rolling this time around.
Oh, nice.
I had a conversation with Marco Siega, a producing director, a Brazilian, about just the notion that, you know, that gunshot didn't necessarily have to kill Dexter. He didn't shoot him in the head. He was lying down on a very, very, very cold floor in the forest, and Marco said, you should talk to Clyde about it. So I called Clyde, and I talked to Clyde and Scott about it, and they responded to the notion and came up with an idea about how to execute it. We brought Gary Levine and Showtime into it. The next thing I knew, it had gained its own momentum, and I found myself increasingly compelled by the idea that he didn't die, and that finding himself on the other side of this would give him a new lease on life and the code and his mission and his purpose that he'd been craving and hadn't up to this point quite been able to grasp. And that's where he is when we find him.
So I just absolutely love that Michael C. Hall himself is the one who wanted to return as Dexter. He loves this character and the show just like the rest of us. You know, it's not like the studios or the showrunners wanted to bring it back just for the money and he kind of like begrudgingly agreed. It was his idea, so he definitely has the passion for this show and this character, which I absolutely love. Speaking of the New Blood ending where he gets shot, they kind of talked about the controversial ending and the fans' reaction to it and the backlash. This article from DexterDaily.com says, the ending for New Blood drew criticism for feeling rushed and unresolved. A much anticipated showdown between Dexter and Angel Batista, heavily teased in the episode, never happened. And of course the controversial climax, Harrison killing his own father. The fan backlash was intense, reminiscent of the outrage following the original series finale in 2013. New Blood had aimed to provide a satisfying conclusion, but for many viewers it missed the mark. Not long after the finale aired, turmoil began brewing behind the scenes. During a discussion at the panel, showrunner Clyde Phillips admitted that the fan backlash hit him hard, and he was devastated by the response from the fans. Clyde Phillips said, the thing about social media is that it's hard to stay away from. Everybody's anonymous, people love it, people don't love it. At the end of New Blood, when Harrison shot Dexter, social media went crazy against him, meaning Harrison, and we were very unhappy and I was particularly stricken about it. I called Michael C. Hall to talk about it and his wife took the phone from him and she said, Clyde, 6,000 people have trouble with what you did. 11 million people watched it. Do the math. And then Scott Reynolds also said that he's aware of the backlash, but he also said when we're making the show, it's kind of ours. And the minute you put it out there, it's yours, it's the fans. So they definitely were pretty devastated about the fan backlash for the New Blood finale, but at the same time they sort of understand it, and I'm just hoping that this new show can really make up for it, and honestly I have high hopes. I know I see a lot of you guys in the comment section saying I'm not getting my hopes up because they've let us down twice before, but I don't know, just I'm so hopeful. I like to be optimistic. Something about this time around makes me think it's going to be amazing. So we shall see. But that is it for today. Just a few highlights from the Dexter fan convention that happened last week. Let me know your thoughts. Leave a comment down below. Please give this video a like if you enjoyed it. Subscribe to the channel if you're new here. Hit that notification bell so you can stay up to date on everything Dexter Resurrection. Any updates that we get leading up to the premiere will be posted here on the channel, and as the show is airing you can expect weekly episode breakdowns, recaps, reviews, theories, predictions, everything Dexter, and you won't want to miss it if you are a Dexter fan. Please also follow me over on TikTok, Twitter, and Instagram, and I will see you guys next time.